That's a funny thing to call me, Sai. Let me put my banner up so everybody knows where I'm going after this. Hi, Instagram. It's been a while since I've been live on Instagram. I'm always over there on TikTok. That's not fair. I'm not being fair to Instagram, am I? Down here on StreamYard, I've got YouTube, I've got LinkedIn, I've got Facebook. Where else have I got? A bunch of places. Anyway, so I always like you to start by telling me where you're watching from, because it's always exciting before I start answering your relationship questions. Remember, I do this for a few minutes on Tuesday nights before I go over to my Patreon community. It's not too late to join. Patreon.com/Dr. Wendy Walsh, where we have private exclusive Zoom rooms once or twice a week. Okay, so let me go back to your comments over here. Thank you, Sai, for your nice comment. Hi, Paul. Happy Wednesday to you. Hi, Kim. How are you? Where are you guys watching from? New York, Illinois. Are you Chicago? San Antonio, Texas. Hello. Let me know where you're watching from. It's always exciting to know that people are watching from everywhere. Cabo San Lucas. I know that, Steve. I hope you're pouring a really nice margarita with some very good tequila. Actually, if it's a great tequila, Steve, don't put any mix in it. Just on the rocks is the best. Orange County, hello. Good to see you. Hello from Chile. How are you? Hello, Andrea from Saskatchewan. Nice. You know, I'm Canuck too. I'm both. Linda from Pasadena. What would I ever do without my Linda from Pasadena? Reminding everybody that I do a live stream for just a few minutes before I go over to my Patreon community. If you'd like to join me over there for a private exclusive Zoom room where I can actually meet you, you go to patreon.com/Dr. Wendy Walsh. I know my eyeline's weird because here I've got a whole bunch of social and up here I've got Instagram. I got two cameras going. Hi, Laguna Beach. Hi, Rhode Island. How are you? So hello, Staten Island. How are you, Christine? Let me know if you have any particular relationship questions. Hi, Bali. I'm completely jealous. I'm jealous of Steve Noper, but I'm also really jealous of you in Bali. That sounds really beautiful. I've always wanted to go to Bali. I haven't been there yet. So anyway, give me your question. Do you have a question about anything to do with love, or should I just start talking? I've been recording TikTok videos in the last few minutes on the mating marketplace. And I think a lot of people don't understand that when you have a lopsided gender ratio in a mating marketplace, it can make it difficult to find a mate if you're a woman. Right now, the advantage lies with the guys, because it's not that we have more women and less men biologically. What we do is we're seeing high achieving women. So when you have women that are achieving money, when you have women that are achieving high education, they tend to not want to date down. I don't agree with them, by the way. I think they're great mates. Their idea of a power guy might be a guy who can power a stroller. There are great mates who might be good husbands, good fathers. Women need to get their head around the idea that this whole rescue complex, this Cinderella complex, isn't very realistic. But anyway, so what happens is you end up having this huge supply and oversupply of successful women vying for a small amount of what you might call alpha males. And those alpha males are often trying to mate with more than one mate. And you'll see more male abandonment of mates. You'll see less paternal investment, less caring about their kids. But there are ways to play around with it. And I've just made a whole series for TikTok that I'm going to start airing today. Thank you for your kind words. Any questions coming up? Why, when my boyfriend's kid's mama comes around, does he what? You're gonna have to print it again. It went too fast. No, hypergamy isn't necessary. Well, first of all, let me say this about every kind of reason I'm dating. Who would find it really? But most of these guys that they just want to have fun. What should I do? Okay, listen. What you want to do is make sure you are honest from the get-go and not be afraid to say what you want. It doesn't matter what your gender is. It doesn't matter what your sexual orientation is. I coached a woman who was a executive at Google, and she used Tinder. She found a great husband. They have a kid now. Everything's wonderful. But I told her in the first text when she matched with somebody to say, hey, I know this app has a reputation for being a hookup app. I'm really here for a long-term relationship. If that's not what you're into, I won't be offended if you move along, right? If you let the person know what you're interested in from the beginning and they do abandon you, you should do the touchdown cheer, because you have been saved from having to eliminate them after they've wasted a lot of your time, or you've exposed them to your eggs and your bloodstream. And then you're like, oh no, did I get an STI? Better that, the process of finding a great mate is the process of eliminating many, many mates. Okay, another question up there. If you have, let me put it up on, I can do this over here, the Facebook I can put on the screen. If you have sex with someone before 30 days are up, how do you build emotional intimacy? Okay, so I want to be clear, but there's no huge rule about 30 days, even though my book is called The 30-Day Love Detox. The title is based around one particular study that found that people who have sex within 30 days of meeting have about a 90% chance of being broken up within 1 year. If they waited at least 60 days or 90 days, you wait 90 days, your chances of being together a year later are 1 in 4. Now, why? First of all, people who are having sex early on are probably there for short-term relationships, right? But secondly, if you take the time to build the emotional intimacy, I want to explain the stages of love on your brain. So the first thing that happens is you're going to get a neuro cocktail of hormones that are connected with lust. And that's a great feeling, right? And then you want to get closer to the person, see more of the person, see more of the person. And then at a certain stage, your brain gets used to that neuro cocktail of hormones, kind of like a drug. You take a lot of it and then it doesn't have the same effect anymore. And then you're kind of like, wait a minute, I need a break. That's why guys withdraw, need to go into their cave. It's all too much too soon. And they think they've fallen out of love, men and women. The truth is, they forgot to fall in love. They got into lust first. So obviously, ultimate, Demetrius, is to build emotional intimacy and physical intimacy at the same time. I'm not saying that it's not possible now. And the way to build emotional intimacy is to be really authentic with your feelings and not being afraid to be honest and vulnerable. And if they disappear, then you are saved. They're not the one for you. So we got, Raymond's got, is it okay to have sex on the first date or at least get a kiss? Well, it depends what you're looking for. If you want a short-term relationship, have sex on a first date. Statistically, if you're trying to have a long-term relationship, probably not a good idea. Also, when it comes to kissing and touching on a first date, you've probably seen my TikTok video that I posted about plenty of guys are testing boundaries. They're trying to figure out on a first date if a woman is in there for the long term or the short term. And what they will do is they will try to kiss her or try to touch her on a first date. If a guy is really into you for a long-term mate, he's never going to take the risk of being physically forward on a first date because he does not want to scare you off. Okay. So again, ask first, get consent. Find out what you want. Find out what they want. I have no problem with short-term relationships. I have no problem with hookups, especially people who have maybe just gotten out of a divorce or their spouse passed away and they're a widower and they need to get their mojo back. Fine. All I want is for both parties to talk about what they want and be honest instead of feeling around in the dark, literally and figuratively, trying to determine what the other person wants. Right? Really important. Okay. Other questions. I haven't gone to Instagram yet. Do you have any questions up there on Instagram? It's moving so fast because there are so many stuff. If you have a relationship question, am I into hookups? I happen to be a serial monogamist. I'm not going to tell you that I haven't had one-night stands in my life, but I didn't like how I felt afterwards. So I guess I'm not. I heard on one of your episodes, you say sex addiction is not real. I'm giving you a chance to correct it now. Well, I would like you to look in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, and you will find that sex addiction does not exist. Partly, it's not a diagnosis because we don't want to be pejorative of the people who have really high sex drives. Human beings have the widest range of sexual behavior of any primate species. Now, this isn't to say that some people don't have a compulsion to cheat or a compulsion to use pornography, which is very different than a diagnosis of addiction, right? So while it may seem very similar to a drug addiction, the Board of Psychology does not, I can't read Dan's words, does not say that there is they don't diagnose sex addiction. Not to say that some dysfunctional sexual compulsions cause problems in your life, but it is not a diagnosis. Okay, I'm looking for more questions here before I go over to Patreon. Oh, Sharms is back. Hi, Sharms. I've been dating my girlfriend for 3 months. As you know, I used to have an anxious attachment style. I love that used to word. What can I do for her to give me more attention? Sharms. Sounds like the word used to is not applying here. If you're craving attention from her, then you haven't solved your anxious attachment because you've chosen somebody who can't meet your needs, or maybe your needs are so overwhelming that no human could meet your needs. So the answer is to learn how to self-contain, right? Learn how to take care of your needs. Besides using an online dating app, what is another successful way to meet someone long-term relationship? I have the best advice ever. First of all, everybody needs to get out there in the real world and meet real people. And I think the best place to meet compassionate, caring people, I mean, remember, a relationship is an exchange of care. That care can take so many forms. It can be financial care. It can be sexual care. It can be domestic responsibility care. It can be intellectual stimulation care. It can be emotional support care. But you need to be a caring person to exchange that care. And where do you meet that person? Volunteering. Volunteering. Whatever you do, you're going to meet people who have healthy, secure attachment styles, who have compassion, who are caring for others. I don't care if it's raising money. I don't care if it's working with homeless, running a community garden, whatever. Figure out what your jam is, and you'll find somebody similar who wants to give in the same way. Sharms has so many questions here. Yes, there is a Zoom room. Let me just put Christina up here. Hi, Christina. There is a Zoom room for Patreon tonight. You didn't see a new link for this week? Did I forget to make the new link? Which means I have 15 minutes to go make the new link and post it on Patreon. Thank you so much, Christina, for telling me that. When should you bring up your interest in marriage if that's the goal? On the first date. What's wrong with talking about your relationship goals? You're there interviewing somebody to decide if they'd be a good match. There's nothing wrong with them. If they're not a good match, it's okay. Hooters. Seriously, dude? That's not a place to find a long-term relationship. Seriously? Oh, just saying. Okay, I'm going to have to get off this live stream because I have to go over to Patreon and I have to send out a link to our new Zoom room. So in about 15 minutes, I'm going to open up the Zoom room on Patreon. If you would like to join me, go to patreon.com/Dr. Wendy Walsh. I am going to post the link momentarily. Okay, I love you all. And also listen to the Dr. Wendy Walsh Show on KFI AM 640. You can download the iHeartRadio app from wherever you are. Every Sunday from 4 to 7 p.m., there I am. And that's it. I love you all. I will see you soon. End broadcast here.